The Shark Deck.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Over the years, we heard the story of how when Queen Elizabeth was done with you, she would switch her handbag from one arm to the other, at which point her staff would come rescue the Queen from your boring conversation. We're now hearing Charles has a similar move. Body language expert Darren Stanton has noticed Charles tell. A move Charles tends to make quite a lot is he'll scratch his nose, just like the late Queen had a signal with her assistants that if she had a handbag in her left hand and then switched it to her right hand, that meant, get me out of here. The King has reportedly moved some of his mother's items to storage. A source tells the Daily Mail, as the King spends more time at Buckingham Palace and Windsor, a small number of items of decorative arts are gradually being rearranged, as you would expect. The Mail reminds us the Queen was extremely passionate about horses and filled her residences with equine memorabilia. Photographs taken in the late Queen's private apartment at Windsor suggest that it was packed with mementos to commemorate her great passion. The sitting room, also known as the Oak Room, was used by the Queen for intimate audiences and photo shoots. In lockdown, the Queen chose the Oak Room for her virtual engagements and was often photographed sitting on a straight-backed wooden dining chair as she carried out a video call. One of the most recent images, taken in February 2022, during an audience with the President of Switzerland, Ignacio Cassis, pictures showed two equine statuettes on her mantle. The first, seen on the left-hand side of the image, shows a groom using a rein to bring a horse under control as it rears up on its hind legs. The second has a more personal meaning, for it depicts then Princess Elizabeth on horseback circa 1937. Charles did visit his mum's yacht. On Monday, the King visited the Royal Yacht Britannia, otherwise known as Her Majesty's Yacht Britannia, which was launched in April 53, 1 month before Queen Elizabeth's coronation. People reminds us the 412-foot vessel was known as the royal family's floating residence during its 44 years of service and sailed over 1 million nautical miles on 968 state visits as they entertained world leaders like Ronald Reagan, Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela, Ronald Reagan, and Rajiv Gandhi. Several royal couples also honeymooned on the ship, including Charles and Princess Diana in 1981, and they later used it for official trips with Prince William and Prince Harry. Newsweek says King Charles has a $466 million Buckingham Palace problem as the entire palace is midway through a 10-year resurfacing project. The last time such large-scale works had been undertaken in the building was after it sustained direct bomb damage during World War II, with much of the fireproofing and cabling not meeting modern-day safety standards. Questions have been raised over the justification of renovating a palace with public funds for one of the wealthiest families in the world, especially if the members of that family ultimately decide they don't wish to live there anyway. CEO of the Republic anti-monarchy group in Britain, Graham Smith, previously told Newsweek of Charles, it's time that he gave up Buckingham Palace and it was opened up all year round and turned into a world-class museum and art gallery because he clearly doesn't need it. And given the amount of money being thrown at it, renovating it, it's time it was made to pay for itself. Author Ingrid Seward told Newsweek, Charles would much rather stay at Clarence House. None of the royals liked living at Buckingham Palace. It's vast and impersonal. It's an official residence, not a home. It is the official residence of the head of state, so they will always use it for official business. But they don't have to live there. It's far more economical to live at Clarence House, as they don't have to spend millions on decorations of the private apartments if they are not used. Just need to keep heating to a minimum, which Charles is very keen on. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams offered another view, highlighting the significance of having the monarch in residence at the palace. It makes total sense that the King and Queen should occupy the late Queen's apartments there. I think it highly likely that after works are complete, Buckingham Palace will be open to the public for longer periods. It would be expected. Palace Intrigue will be right back.
Hey, it's Jordan Ross Myers, the man behind Twitter's notorious Lee Radswell and Don Gunvalson. I'm inviting you to join me every week for the Pretty Corrupt podcast. Along with my co-host, reality casting director Stacey Noel Connor, and disgraced entertainment TV producer Nate Safer, we probe the dark crevices of Hollywood, taking you inside the scandals of society's rich and infamous. Everything is fair game on the Pretty Corrupt podcast. Every Tuesday on all streaming platforms and at storicmedia.com.
We may have to suggest the X-Files look into a mysterious case involving King Charles. The Guardian reports King Charles' private country estate of Sandringham in Norfolk has been linked to the deaths and disappearances of a string of legally protected birds over the past 2 decades. The cases include the alleged poisoning, shooting and disappearance of some of UK's rarest birds of prey. One of the cases involved the mysterious loss of eastern England's last breeding female Montagu's harrier, a critically endangered species whose future in the UK is now looking bleak. The Guardian has identified 18 cases since 2003 involving suspected wildlife offences or the alleged misuse of poisons like the royal estate and neighbouring farmland owned by the King. According to a Natural England internal memo written in 2009, Sandringham had a history of pesticide incidents and other birds of prey crime. The memo listed 4 cases involving the estate. One senior conservation source, speaking on condition of anonymity, said, "If another estate had been subject to so many investigations, there would have been lots of cross-compliance stuff going on. You would expect the royal family to live to a higher standard." Katie Jo Luxton, the RSPB's Director of Conservation, said, "The incidents we know of are just the tip of the iceberg, and this is reflected in the fact that some species remain suspiciously absent from places they should thrive." And there you have it. Our email address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or head on over to YouTube, and you can do that on your app or your desktop or your mobile device. And go to youtube.com and look for Palace Intrigue, find the show, and smash that subscribe button for us. It would really help us get some more subscribers and help the show a lot. My thanks to John McDermott. I'm Mark Francis. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.